What's up, troopers? We're here for another episode of Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Evan Paul, a former GT champion now that it's going to be a new season. I'm here with Mike Berry, also former GT champion. And then we're here with one of the most former anything of anythings that you can come up with.
Just some dude, man.
So we have Isaiah Wallace, former person that matters in the Legion sphere. What else are you? What else did you used to be that now you are not, Isaiah?
Well, I've retained one title.
What's that?
I am still married to the top woman at World.
Oh yeah,
like
well done with that. So yeah, you at least took home. One of you took home the same title that you did last year.
This is true.
But maybe we should just first of all, Isaiah, how you doing?
Doing great, man. I'm free. I'm having fun. I get to stupid stuff again.
I will say you were. I wasn't surprised by this, but maybe people that don't know you might be surprised by just like once you took your loss on on Saturday, you just like came by and you were like, I'm free.
It's a lot of pressure, man.
It's a lot of pressure. It was also a good loss for to start off on, right?
Oh, well, tell us a little bit about it. Tell us about your Adepticon experience.
Man, I want to be clear. I went 7-1 for the weekend in main games.
It's very good.
There you go.
But the first competitive game that I played was immediately against Trent Hale, who I think I played him at one point.
Oh, he got us both.
No,
he got us back to back.
Yeah, he got both of the Garheads in here.
Yeah, but I played him first, and it was like, oh no, and it was. I mean, it was a great game. Like it was really good. Our table was not favorable to me. I definitely did not.
Mike blaming the table.
Blaming the
Oh no! I did not have a favorable turn 0 flop with the table. There was a lot of roadblocks specifically for my melee stuff, and it just didn't work out. And he did really well. And just decided he wanted to take out Gar players one after the other. Some jump from me to Mike, and then was done.
Yeah.
But it was great. I really enjoyed Adepticon. I had so much fun. Got to do a lot of side events. I will say, I think in the future, even if I get the bye, I did not like walking in with cold hands on Saturday.
Oh, man.
Because
you cut this from our last episode, Evan Paul. I listened to it, and you cut it.
Yeah,
and I was crying about the same thing.
I was about to acknowledge that, Michael. Like,
okay, go ahead.
That for those listeners out there, I cut a segment where Michael and I talked about the concept of, is it actually less fun to get a bye and to basically skip the first day of Adepticon? I was like, no, I'm happy to have. That's because from my perspective, I was like, I'm just happy to be here, man. To where I didn't need to try on day one in order to make it into day two. But maybe the two of you are like more pure competitors.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun, and like I got to do some really cool games. I wish there had been a warm up competitive event on Friday.
I mean, there was one on Thursday.
There's one on Thursday, but I was playing Total War on Thursday, and then there was a fixed mission event on Friday, which was what I felt so bad.
Wild.
I felt so bad. It was like 16 people signed up.
Yeah.
5 people who were like, oh, I don't really want to do the competitive thing. I'm new to the game. I just want to have fun. And then like 10 GT winners. And
everybody that buys.
Yeah. So they rolled up, and it's like that meme from Vietnam where they're just sitting there just. And like my first game was against Mike, and it was great. It was silliest, awesome, stupidest game I've played in a long time, and it was so much fun. And it did not prepare me for the absolute like flattening I received on Saturday.
Sorry.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how that game went? Like, because that was the only round of the fixed mission that I played, and so. Again, with fixed mission, it means that every table was playing the same primary, and then we convinced them to also do the same secondaries, because we were like, if we're going to be trying one of these things out, let's just like try both of them out. Luckily, Josh, who was the judge, was just like, yeah, sure, just do whatever. That was very cool of him. So that round one was hostage it was failed negotiations and payload. which is an interesting combination. At the very least, it was not the dreaded failed negotiations plus primary that it hates the middle, which is the thing that we're sort of wondering about how fun a game like that is going to be. Such a like negotiations plus breakthrough about how weird that's going to be. So both payload and failed negotiations, you definitely like care about the middle. So it was like my experience was that there was like kind of a big fight in the middle, but I guess I'll just like talk about mine first. It turns out that if you can score your opponent's like home payload points on round 2, then that's like kind of game over.
Yeah, because you just keep scoring it over and over and over and over,
right.
over again.
Yeah, because it's hard to reverse, and if you don't actively reverse it, then you're just like bleeding 2 points every round. On top of the fact that like that 1 point is a 3-point bleed on the round that you actually score it.
Yeah.
And man, that's just like it feels so hard to come back from. But what was your game like?
So I think you've talked about your list that you played, right, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just cover my list real quick so they have context. Mine was a Yoda, Bad Batch, Custom Night, Super Ahsoka squad list. Trimmings aren't super important. There was a Flamer RT. There was a Naked Fluttercraft, which is better than a Naked Bark. Fight me.
Nope.
And I think 2 mortar squads with, or 2 infantry, or 2 marksmen with mortars, and 1 naked marksman, and then one more shotgun infantry to round it out.
Mm-hmm.
Our match was, first off, the first time we'd ever played each other.
It was, yeah.
And I can tell you the exact moment I knew that it was going to be a stupid fun match was we roll up to the table. I'm like, all right, cool. I know I'm playing Yoda's 3-pip turn 1, so I'm probably going first. We both picked, well, initially I picked Ahsoka and you picked 5s for our hostage carriers. I swapped off of that, which we forgot.
We did.
And then I
changed some of the calculus later on. Yeah. Well, it was a new objective.
Sure.
I ran Ahsoka out there with the confidence that she had incognito. She did not have incognito.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, he also had the thought that Ahsoka had incognito, so she didn't die immediately.
Yeah.
But I walked up. I was very like, all right, I'm going to play Yoda's 3-pip. He's probably going to play standing. I'm going first. And then his 2-pip hit the table, and I looked up, and he just goes, "Let's go!" And like, just was ready to fight off the bat.
I mean, a prepared positions incognito Super 5s unit seems like a really good thing to have play Relentless on turn 1. I don't know.
It was. It needed.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, it was a good game. It ended up ending in my favor.
Yeah, I think I misdeployed a little bit. I think I overextended onto your left side, my right side. I think I ended up a little heavy on, but I should have emphasized the middle more.
The turn 1 was pretty in your favor. The turn 1 and turn 2 were in your favor. You like 5s was able to just beat Ahsoka until she was just her and the shotgun. I lost a full shotgun squad. I lost quite a few things. But I was able, like, your Yoda, I was able to eat 2 of your barks. I got your Yoda down to like 1 health. I got your Padme. I got a lot of numbers out of a lot of the clones. I don't think I think I killed 1 of the super squads, but most of them I didn't end up killing. I just was like, all right, well, here, take 3 of these. But there was 1 roll in that fight that I stopped feeling bad after, like, I had a really good roll, and then I had a flamethrower, and I'm going to talk about this one because it made me so mad. I had a flamethrower go into a flamethrower RT go into a full super marksman squad, land 8 hits, and Mike just goes, "Okay, cool. All right, so moving on, my turn now," and full block it, and just like, because it was like 7 blocks and a surge, and he goes, "And there's a surge from over here to borrow, and we're good." And I'm like, "What just happened?" That ATRT exploded.
Clones, baby. They just do it sometimes. So I mean, at that point, like after that match, I ended up just like dropping so I could cast that Kyle versus Kevin game, and then I think Mike, you dropped after the second round. Did you do the whole thing, Isaiah?
Yeah, I did all 3. It was really fun. I got to play. Oh my gosh, I forget his name. The Australian GT winner.
Like
fun.
Peter
you played
Zyconia?
Zyconia.
Yeah, he was my last game, and he was a ton of fun. I enjoyed him a lot.
Yeah. I guess like from the other new objectives that you played, was there anything that sort of like caught your eyes?
I was pretty skeptical about prepared positions on the one where you have the team.
Contact.
Yeah, contact.
Yeah.
It worked out better than I thought. The range bands were a little bit wider than I thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that more today. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
So I felt I was initially kind of skeptical on that one. I was like, oh, wow, that's going to be really good for infiltrate and really bad for prepared positions. I'm softer on that now. It felt better for prepared positions. I enjoyed that secondary of I'm softer on the secondary where they're along the line in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the names memorized yet.
I think is that align the relay? It's like align the relay or retrieve the data or it's one of them.
That's align the relay is when they're in the line in the middle.
They all have very
sure.
similar names.
Yeah.
The one where you can flip it at the end, right?
Yes.
I was pretty down on that one initially just because it was the last activation gets something big, right?
Yep.
But because of how it is scored, because of the breakpoints of like, if you have 2, you score 1, and if you have 4, you score 2. It makes it a little bit more. It is better than I expected,
Sure.
and I enjoyed it more. And there was some play that was like, "Oh, I'm going to drop in and take this from you." It's like, "Okay, you took it from me. Now you're going to pay for it next round. Top of next round, I'm going to just eat that." And so I did not. I was not as. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected.
Okay.
Right? I'm not. I need to play. I mean, obviously, this is based on one game with the new objectives, right? So like. Reserve, huge asterisks on it.
Yeah.
But it was good. It felt good.
Cool. All right. And then as far as the rest of Adepticon goes, Mike, I feel like I need to at least spend a second on the podcast talking about the experience that we had on the final day of Worlds, because we, while the top 4 matches were going on, what did you do in the last day, Isaiah? Because obviously none of us were playing Legion at that point.
I walked around the floor because that was the first day I had open, and then I drank a lot of beer, and I hung out and talked with just different friends mostly. I don't think I didn't end up playing anything. I kind of just hung out most of the time.
Yeah, I mean that would have been like my only day to do something like that. But instead of that, one Kyle Dornbos on Saturday night was like, "Hey guys, I brought this game with me," and like the more he talked about it, the more interest was coming from me, because he was like, "It's a 40K board game that FFG made and that's been out of print. It's called Forbidden Stars, and it's like actually kind of rare because it's out of print. You have to pay like $350 to find a used copy of it out there, but." Like what was crazy was that like so it was me, Mike, Izzy, and Kyle. It's basically a game that should be 4 players all the time, as far as I can tell. It can probably be something different, but it shouldn't be. But man, that was such a fun game.
That was fun to walk by and see. Especially because I knew nothing about the game, and the first time I walked by, Izzy was like, "All right, I'm going to build a factory," and was super proud of his factory. And then I walked back by, and I think it was Mike, or I walked by, and Izzy looks defeated, and I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Mike took my factory." And
that must have been towards the tail end.
That was towards the tail end of the game when Mike was taking over everything.
He was so proud of his factory, and then he just looked so upset.
It's, I guess, like I would sort of describe it as baby's first Twilight Imperium, but with appropriately for 40K, like what if Twilight Imperium was only war, and that's like
there are no deals here.
Yeah, there's no deals. Like there was a little bit of like there was a little bit of, are you going to put a token down in the system now, or are you going to wait until later? And then when somebody was getting close to winning, which unfortunately, like I was the first person who was close to winning, and then Mike was I think the only person who noticed that I was close to winning, and then he was like, "Actually, I'm going to take care of this," and he worked with Kyle to block me that round, and then Mike won the next round. What a jerk! But yeah, I was playing Orcs because I was told that I had never played the game before, but I was told that Orcs just sort of like press W. I was like, I can do that. That's what I've been doing in these minis games ever since I started playing X-Wing. But yeah, I do want to shout that out. If you have a pal that owns Forbidden Stars and you have a chance to like get together and play it with, 3 other people, like you should honestly really try it out because this is a super cool game. And unlike the TI, you can actually get it done in like 3.5-ish hours. Like we played slower than that because half of us didn't know how to play the stupid game, but ton of fun. All right. I do have to do a little bit of business. Mike, I promised some giveaways and the people are answering. I'm going to have to like make sure that I come up with some kind of consolation thing in case I run out of stuff to give away.
Gondor calls for aid.
But I will figure it out. I will definitely make sure that everybody gets something. But I want to shout out our new and upgrading patrons. We have Louis Min, Jake Diamond, Chris Moody, Cameron Alexander, Ryan Mars, Brian Buchstrucker, Jess David, Matthew Barbeau, Derek McKinnon, Cool Man Guy Thing, Dan Fiore, Louis Marty, Adam Free, John Bonus, Matthew Grinnell, Seb DA, Coolio 1C, Chris LaFrance, Chevicado, Alex Laura, Exigence, Lillian Aaroncliff, T-Matt Tiberius, Leo Thompson, Preston Patillo, and Nicholas Hancock. Oh my God, you guys. We really appreciate it. And again, I know that obviously like the promise of free stuff is, or it's not quote unquote free stuff, I guess, is what motivated a lot of people. Yeah, thank you guys. But I will make sure that everybody gets their fair shake. So appreciate everybody who is new and upgraded. Appreciate everybody who was already on the Patreon, and also just again super appreciate everybody who came up and said nice things about the podcast while Mike and I were at Adepticon. Isaiah and Kaylin, they're usually never people that say nice things about our podcast, but they're invited here anyway.
Listening to you say that list of new and returning Patreons, like when you were talking about all the people you were going to have to give stuff to earlier before the pod, it was reminded me of that skit where it's like, do you want to double it and take $10 or double it and give it to the next person? And by the 5th person who's doubled it, and it's like, $10,000, the guy behind the camera is just sweating and like, stop.
Please stop.
Take the money. Take the money.
No,
we budgeted for $50. Please take the money.
I will get it figured out. The AMG handed us like a pretty sizable bag. It's not infinite, but they did give us a lot of stuff to give out, and we want to make sure that it gets spread around. I did want to also mention that for anybody in that list or going forward, if you're in Europe, then it'll just be, you'll be waiting a little bit until I actually am in Europe, which is happening in May. And then I can ship from there at much lower cost than what I can do from here. So just feeling a little bit of extra patience for y'all.
Are you admitting to taking things across customs to ship them cheaper?
They're gifts. I'm sure. Oh, is that a crime? Am I like admitting fraud or something? All right. Well, hopefully,
I mean, at the end of the day,
USPS isn't listening.
What is crime these days?
Okay, and we're moving on to the next segment of the podcast. So, speaking of cost, we.
Oh, nice transition.
Yeah. Thank you. I've been working on those. Thank you for noticing. Like, really appreciate it.
From committing crime to cost cutting.
So low, it should be a crime, is not the thing that you would say about some of the newer releases of Star Wars Legion, which have included items such as, these are the things that stood out the most to Mike and I. Imperial High Command is probably the biggest one to me, is $70. And obviously I think we've known that for a fair bit, but in my head, it didn't really like calculate until, Michael, you showed us the sprue for Imperial High Command.
Yeah, did I send a picture of that? Maybe we can put that on screen.
There is definitely a picture a picture will be on the YouTube as we describe it, because I definitely have a copy of it. How would you describe that sprue, Michael?
I don't know. It was like about yay big. There was 4 guys on it. They all had the same pose, basically, which is I'm a grumpy crossed arms
in the
guy.
Empire. Yeah.
Which narratively on theme.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. You know, which is fine, but I don't know. $70 is a lot for 4 miniatures that are not very big and like don't have like, it's not like they've got like a bunch of capes and like stuff. It's not like, you know, you buy like Lando and there's like multiple cape options and stuff, right? Like there was, I think, basically no options on these guys other than you could decide if your Krennic had a hat. like the black like ISB hat or like the not black ISB hat.
You couldn't even.
Does anybody like those?
I chose the not hat because duh.
Yeah, because you're a plain human being.
Yeah.
I also think those hats are atrocious. Thank you, Isaiah, for saying it out loud.
But it's almost as bad as the Fleet Trooper helmets.
Yeah.
It's not quite that bad. It's pretty bad though. Somewhere Kyle Dornbos, who has worn one of those hats, at least one to a Legion tournament, is upset
yes.
about
yeah.
this.
He used to dress up as an Imperial officer back when he played as Empire a lot. It was funny.
Well, and so Isaiah, I think the other things I'll mention is that are sort of like noteworthy in my opinion is that the E-Web, which is the old soft plastic, by the way, that's not even something that's another thing we haven't talked about in this podcast, that at some point over the last couple of months, I think the first time it became clear was when Jin re-released alongside Cassian and K2, and where it, at first, like I didn't want to believe it, and I was like, sort of like being a truther about it's the same pose, but it has to be hard plastic, right? And it turned out that no, it's the soft plastic version of Jin from back in the day. And then at that point, it came out that I think the official AMG position is that hard plastic will happen for all of these eventually, but that from a production timeline that they weren't able to support like redoing all of these at once, so they like had to prioritize some. But anyway, we have a soft plastic E-Web at 40. We have Imperial High Command at 70. But then that's like opposite of the idea of the starters being like still like really cheap for what you get in those. So I'm curious where you come down in all this, Isaiah. Fair or foul to Asmodee, because again, this is not an AMG decision. The AMG do not like run the checkbooks. They are not the publicly traded company. They are part of a publicly traded company named Asmodee, and that they're the ones that call it the shots, in my opinion, and from everything that we've heard. So
Evan just reeling this stuff out like it's fact
when I say this,
when he doesn't actually know.
When I say this, I do think that like any negative feelings should be angled towards the owner of the product, not the studio. But all that said, Isaiah, what do you think?
I'm of two minds. I have my opinion as a consumer, and then I have my opinion as somebody who works in an industry that deals with a lot of similar, not the same, not
industrial
at all the same,
knowledge.
A lot of
Wallace.
industrial production stuff.
Sure.
Making these sort of display kind of things, like which is more electronics, but deals with a lot of the same like factory floor space and like a lot of the similar challenges. So my opinion as a consumer is, oh, this sucks. I mean, this sucks. This is it's higher than I want it to be. Personally, I don't really care about the soft versus hard plastic. I'm not a big hobbyist. I've always been like, I'm here to play the game, not to hobby. My models meet 3-color minimum.
My man.
But so it's never been that big a deal to me. And I don't immediately think that I would be surprised if when we get hard plastic E-Webs, if they are more than the current priced E-Webs, right? I would expect them just to slowly transition those in the box to change. But as a consumer, that still feels bad, right? That's not fun. I do think that the alternative is if they then pushed E-Webs and said, oh, well, we're not going to actually be able to have E-Webs in time. I think that would be a worse play, right? Than doing a reprint with soft plastic.
Think I agree with that. If they had to choose, then it's better to release it. But I think I would have just hoped that it would have been, I don't know, like
no. I mean, I agree. Like it'd be better if it was, was set. And I am generally unhappy with. I don't know. I personally don't always view the boxes as sprues because I don't come at it from a hobbyist perspective. It's more the like, oh, 4 commanders. That's 4 completely different ways to play my army. But 70 still sucks when then you got to go and do, like it still feels just a little too high. I would be very interested. I wish I knew, could know more about what their production line costs look like and stuff, because it's kind of hard to say without that. But as a consumer, it really sucks. Like, it doesn't feel good.
It gets extra weird, right? Because like there's a couple dual character releases out there, such as Poggle and Sunfac is only 30 for 2, but then you go to Imperial High Command, you're paying 70, which, checking the math, that's more than double for 4 minis that have the exact same customization and basically like the same mass as Poggle and Sunfac. So I don't know, it feels weird. Mike, where do you come down on this?
I am not happy, I guess is what I would say. I think
Tell it. You have a platform, Michael.
I do have a platform, and I'm gonna use it. Damn
That's right.
So the eWeb is like almost twice as expensive as it used to be for literally the same product. I think it's reasonable that, times have changed. Like, the price is obviously going to go up. I think we all are like reasonable human beings that can understand that the cost of doing business has gone up over the last few years. I think that that's fine. It used to be $25. Oh, now it's 30. Okay. We get it. Right. I think $40 for soft plastic eWeb that warps after like a couple of years, because that's what happens to some of those larger soft plastic models. My eWeb is particularly bad. Like, the gun is just like, it's like super curved. I don't know, like,
too much time in the swamp, Washington DC.
I guess, man. And like, hard plastic just doesn't do that in the same ways.
Right.
It's lower quality. And maybe it's a different soft plastic. Maybe. That seems kind of unlikely to me, but
I would be surprised if they would do that because of the limitations that you have on those molds. You would have to put a lot of money into changing that line. Which
that's the thing, right? So
would be a strange decision, right?
So
again.
Yeah.
Well, and to be clear, it's not as big of a lift as changing over fully to hard plastic.
Yeah.
So it's not like a completely, you do this or you do this. It might be like, we're going to put a little bit into it, but I would be surprised if that was the choice.
I think, so here's the thing. For a very long time, Star Wars Legion has been one of the cheaper options in the miniature market as far as being a gateway into the game and the tabletop hobby and allowing people to like play the game at a reasonable rate. Look, I'm super amped if the models are going to be super high quality. I don't care. I will pay another $20 a box. However, Imperial High Command was like, there was nothing super remarkable about the models. I'm sure the sculptor did a good job. It wasn't like they were
the
bad
characters
models.
were recreated, but at the end of the day, they're dudes standing there.
It's a hard character to.
Yeah,
they were recreated to faithfully to like what they should be.
Yeah.
I just like, you look at those poses and you're just like, all right, this is not particularly exciting, particularly interesting or whatever, and like, look, $70 is like what you pay for a box of Warhammer. Frankly, like, some boxes of Warhammer are cheaper. I don't think we're quite at like Warhammer like levels of like sick nastiness, as far as like, obviously Warhammer can do some things with the IP that Star Wars can't, right? Because Warhammer's like, we're just gonna make sick things to look cool so that they can be really cool models, as opposed to like Star Wars has to be like, nope, this Death Trooper has to look like a Death Trooper, right?
This is what Tarkin has looked like for 40 years. He's got to look like Tarkin, and he's kind of like,
right. But I think just like the sheer amount of plastic in a $70 box of Warhammer, which to the community at writ large is like, that's the benchmark for what expensive in this hobby is.
Right.
And like, you compare High Command against any of those boxes, and it's like, this isn't adding up, friends,
And yet, like, going back to the starter set thing, is that it's probably hard to find a deal that's as good as the Legion starter sets in any minis game, right?
The starter sets make no sense to me on how, like, the economics of that are wild.
Well, it's a loss leader, right? I mean, I
don't think
that's
I don't think it's an actual loss, but
it's a comparative loss leader, certainly.
Yes, for sure. I don't know. The new StarCraft's minis game was roughly the same, I would say.
Okay.
Like the Archon's like starter set for Protoss was like, I would say that they're like Shatterpoint size models, and there is like less models, but there's like the same amount of units, and probably it was a comparable amount of plastic in a StarCraft starter as a
you said
starter.
It just like with Legion, it's the right amount for a recon style, like a small game style of army.
Yes, it is literally half an army in a StarCraft starter.
Right.
Warhammer's definitely not like that. The like Battle Force boxes they have are like
they are very expensive.
This is like a tenth of your army, right?
Yeah.
But from like a unit per unit perspective, I think the new Shore Troopers that came out, which also soft plastic, I think we're close to $70.
Are the Shore Troopers? Is there anything egregious that's going to bend on them, like the E-Web gun? I guess the guy who holds his gun up, but that's still thicker, right?
I haven't fact check for Michael. They are $50. Shore Troopers. Yeah.
Okay.
The Timu was $70.
Maybe it was was it the Fleet Troopers that just came out? Something just came out that was soft plastic.
All
that was
the core
substantially higher.
Oh, sorry. The Fleet Troopers this is kind of weird. The Fleet Troopers are $58.
Yes, and they are still soft plastic.
Yeah, they're still soft plastic.
Sorry, that's what I was thinking of. I apologize. I said Shore Troopers when I meant Fleet Troopers. They're $60. They're still soft plastic. It is 2 squads of like the old box, basically, in the new box, except you don't get 2 unit leaders and you don't get 2 copies of each heavy, right? So you're just getting the duplication of the extra guys. But I don't know. We have achieved Warhammer prices. I just want the quality to kind of like bump up to that. If we're gonna pay that, like, it should be on the level.
And the new minis they put out have been like, we were talking about the customizable ones before the cast started, and like those are really high quality minis, honestly. Those and they have plenty of options, and that's the sort of thing to where it does feel like you're really getting your money's worth. And so maybe the toughest part of this transition is like the factory space thing, and that they need to have these available in the game, right? Like it has sucked for Rebel and Empire players that E-Webs and Fleet Troopers have been impossible to find for over a year. And so like it's good that stuff is now going to be back in circulation one way or the other for a gameplay reason. But, like I think the rest of this is reality. The thing that I just wonder is that the E-Web is $40 for what it's like 60 points of unit that you're getting basically. And then you could argue that, okay, high command, that's $70 for, like 300 points of unit or whatever. And so maybe you're getting more value out of it, but you can't even play all those guys in the same army. So I don't know.
It's tough. It's subjective, right?
Yeah.
I do have, I think, breaking news. It might not be breaking when you listen to this podcast. However, before this podcast started, I asked my store if the Mandos were on pre-order, and they were like, we'll look into it, get back to you. Right before we got on this podcast, I pinged the store owner. I was like, hey, do you got those prices yet? He just got back to me, literally live on location.
Is it okay that we're talking about this, Michael?
He didn't say it wasn't, so it should be fine.
All right,
I also have release dates.
Oh.
So the distributors have them and the retailers have them. So here we are. Okay.
Sure.
So the Mandalorian Special Edition Army Box, release date June 19th.
Okay.
This is the big one.
This is the big
one. Yeah.
Do you guys want to take a stab at how much you think this is going to cost? Since we've been playing prediction games for the last 3 episodes.
So June 19th.
Yep.
It is. Walk me through just real quick. Remind me what all's in there.
It is, I believe, it looked kind of like 2 Mando warrior like super squads. which I think could be built as like a Mando warrior and then a support, and then a Mando warrior and a support, and then it's also got Grogu, Mando, and the armorer in there as well. I think
no initiates.
I think so. The Mando warriors can be built as Mando warriors, or the initiates, or the fire support, Clan Kryze.
Yeah.
And a total of 4 that you could build any way you want it.
It looks like there are like 20 guys in there. You can either build them as like 4 or 5-man squads, or like 2 super squads.
Yeah.
And the 5-man squads and stuff is various configurations.
That sounds basically right. And then yes, Din, Grogu, and the armor are the 2 characters that come in.
I think that you're probably putting that just. It's not a starter set, right?
No,
so it's not.
It is not a starter set. It is a special edition army box, is how it's branded.
Probably 130 would be my guess.
I was going to say 140, which is the same as Blizzard Force and Echo Base.
It is $139.99. So I guess Evan wins that one for being off by 1 cent.
Price is right.
Oh no, I went over. Crap.
Yeah. We've also got the Mandalorian Leader and Hunter set, which I think this is the generic like Tours of Duty-esque pack. Also coming out on the same date, $39.99. We don't need to continue playing.
In line with the other customizables.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say the starter sets were originally $90, right?
They were originally 100. I'm pretty sure.
$99.99.
So they haven't changed then.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's anything else on here that is interesting that we might not have a date for. The Mandalorian Leaders box, which, if we're all recalling, 4 characters. Bow.
This will be interesting.
Bow, Axe, Armor, and Din, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like Pre-Vizsla in that one.
No, that's Bow, Axe, Armor, Din.
Okay. That one is $52.99.
It's Bow, Axe, Armor, Paz Vizsla.
That one is $52.99, almost $20 cheaper than High Command. Figure that one out. That one's almost certainly got more plastic in it too.
Yeah. But it's not about how much plastic is in there. It's that one can sell more units to recoup loss on the sprues, right? Because
maybe
people across factions are going to be buying that box as opposed to the Imperial High Command, right?
Sure. You tell that to the Imperial players. You tell that to them.
I said earlier, it doesn't feel good as a consumer, but like from a business perspective, that 100% makes sense to me.
Supply and demand.
Clan Ren Mandos and Mandalorian Super Commandos also released on the same day. Those guys are $46.99 and $49.99 respectively. Why there's a $3 difference there is interesting.
That's
the thing that isn't
it's because Clan Ren is 1 mini less.
Yeah. See, it is about the plastic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just by a little bit though.
Yeah. So what is markedly missing from this list is Mandalorian warriors. Like the non
maybe that was one of the ones that was going to come out in July.
Yeah, maybe if you want the new like Mando units, you have to buy the army box for like a month. Which would make sense if they're trying to
I feel like that's still a good deal, even if you're not going to do even if you're not going to do full Mando army, I still will probably pick one of those up just for.
You're getting 6 units for 140, and only 2 of them are characters. Like that seems like honestly a good deal still.
I mean, it's like 30 models, right?
Yeah,
like, that's fine. I'm willing to pay that for 30 models. And
so that means like you can buy 2 of those boxes, and obviously it's like not nothing, but if you get 2 of those, then you basically will have a full Mando army at that point, right? I mean, like you'd be like ready to go.
I do think, and I don't know how much we really want to take on this, but we can do a little of extrapolation from like what's in that box, like how much a Mando unit is going to cost.
Oh,
right?
I don't even want to get into this. Maybe we'll do that in May. Once we actually get closer, but
they might be cheaper than ARCs, boys and girls.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to be cheaper than ARCs. Everybody prepare yourselves for the fact that we have 2.5 Republic players on this points prediction cast that we're going to do. I say I'm half just because I'm half a player of everything, but there's going to be some Gar talk. There's going to be some sort of like some Gar self-hatred, some Gar fatalism. And I expect both of you to come out with the hottest of takes, because that's what the patrons, including all these new ones, are going to demand.
You did this. No. You did this to me last time. You said predictions, not desires. You did this last time where you're like, you need hot takes. And I was like, well, but you asked me to say what I think's going to happen, not what I want.
That's why I directly asked him before the cast, man.
And what did he say?
Like, and he was like, no, what you think they're going to do, not what you want.
Exactly. So my takes are not hot.
Well, listen, if you have hot takes, then feel free to sprinkle them in there. And I think that once we get to Gar, I think that the nature, I will bet that the nature of the things that you guys predict will in fact be hot takes, because they come from a deep-seated sense of fatalism that both of you probably have about Republic. So that said, let's just get right into it. I asked these boys to come up with some predictions. We're not gonna be exhaustive here, because like I sometimes learn from my mistakes in terms of the length of time that it takes to do things on a podcast. But it'll be a free flowing conversation. But I wanted to just sort of like focus on what we thought were going to be the easiest few things to predict about the various factions in terms of like what will change and what will not. So I wanted to start with what has already been acknowledged as, quote, the big one, based on the fact that the slide during the roadmap for the April 21st update has B1s being built on it, and the Wills certainly confirmed on an interview with us that droids are going to be the focus. And Mike and I tried to like get some extra info on them that was like mostly unsuccessful. But let's start there. And Isaiah, like you play against droids more than anybody here, because you play at home against Caitlin. And so what do you think, before we get into like individual points things, like what do you think they meant when they talked about all droids being changed?
They said the specific wording was all droids.
They said all droids.
My initial thought, my initial thought was that it was an AI change.
I still think that, by the way.
But I am kind of, because I am torn on how you do a droid trooper change without it hitting some other things with collateral. Though don't want to rule that out. If the main things with droids that we see today are, not including AI, just talking about droid trooper, are suppression changes or poison changes. I don't see a world where we get poison changes.
Ion changes also.
Or ion changes,
yeah.
Maybe there's a world where ion becomes, where there's a way to generate ion tokens outside of, like in place of suppression. Maybe some kind of like, if you reach X suppression threshold, you get an ion token, or if you do,
if you panic, you get an ion token, maybe.
Or if I have a suppressive weapon, something that may be a way for us to generate ion, or an ion-like effect, whether that is actually an ion token or changing how suppression works with some kind of way.
You must be a Republic player with your lack of access to ion tokens.
But I wonder if there's something coming that will make, whether that is making suppression matter in some way to droids, or make ion more available, or like give us a drawback, right? Because that's basically the only way I can think of, because those units are so varied. I mean, there's so much that's under the header of droid trooper that the only thing you could change would be like suppression, right? That would have an effect across the board.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, Mike, right? Is that right now it's just super easy to say that it is better to be a droid or a vehicle with AI than it is
a huge improvement,
than it is to not to be a regular guy or a vehicle without AI. It's just like straight up better to have AI or be a droid trooper. And so yeah, like what would you say, Mike, in terms of like what you think they meant?
I have no idea, and I'm gonna explain why. Because I actually think that scared the absolute loving bejesus out of me.
Me too.
And
I'm glad you're saying it first. I don't seem like a CIS whiner.
No, so here's the thing, right? When we're talking about like a global change like that, it's really hard to get those things just right.
Yes.
Like if you're talking about like a scope of something that hits a rule that affects I don't know, 30% of the units in the game, or I don't know, maybe it's like 25 or something like that. But there are units outside of CIS that have those keywords.
True, but it's only troopers. Not all.
Yeah, there's no AI vehicles outside of CIS. At least
there are no AI vehicles outside CIS. Yeah, I think that's true. But like there are like the IG droids have AI.
Just 11, right?
I don't know.
Maybe,
I would have to. I haven't played 88 in so long. I would have to relook at his
card. It's crazy because those units just like haven't been seen. They haven't seen the light of day in a long time. But yeah, there's them. There's Dark Troopers. There is theoretically R2 and C3PO.
Right. Like there are a bunch of things that like also kind of, and I think also like the things that have these keywords, not all of them really need to be hurt. Right. Like you're
talking about droid or AI.
Both of those things,
because I think there's two, like it's a different discussion depending on which one you're talking about, right?
Sure. I mean, like I do B2s need a nerf? No, probably not. Right? Like, do B1s need a nerf? No, probably not.
Right.
Do both of those things have AI? I think we could have a conversation about the B1s if you wanted, but I don't think
disagree
it's like
about the B1s. But
sure. But like I think that there are a lot of things that would be hit or hurt by like a nerf to either that trooper type or that keyword that probably don't need to be right now. So so this scares me a little bit that we're talking about global effect changes like that, just because I think that there are like significant ramifications, and I think that it is very likely that either whatever they're changing that has that scope either does absolutely nothing, or it's just like everything is like nerfed into the ground and I think finding the like sweet spot in the middle is really tough, and if they hit it, great. But I am concerned about that.
It would be hard to get there without also changing points on some units, no matter what they do, right? With those, because it has to be paired with this is going to hit, whatever it is, whether it's AI or droid. It's going to hit some things differently than it hits others, right?
Yeah, because if it's a global nerf, then maybe that's the thing that finally makes Aqua Droids balanced for the first time so far since they existed. But then if it was global, it would suddenly make something like Crab Droids, which are sort of on the margin right now of like being pretty good, but not above average in any way.
Like when's the last time you saw one in a list, right?
Yeah, it's not very common. But something like that would suddenly get kicked down. I think B2s would probably get kicked down, or maybe the T series would become like a literal requirement. But yeah, I don't know. That is the exact same thing I was worried about, Mike and Isaiah, which is how do you do global changes while actually keeping things balanced from a points perspective? It would take a lot of testing, and maybe they've done it. Hopefully they've done it. I will certainly, I'll be the first one to applaud if they manage to do something global and it seems like it's balanced on the way out. And I will do my best to sort of look at it from a balanced perspective, but it seems hard is basically the only thing I'll say. So
I do have, before you move on, I have one thing I want to tack onto that.
Sure.
I have a slight leak that I asked AMG if I was allowed to talk about it, and they said yes, and I haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh.
So this is probably
breaking news.
During my Total War game, which does inherit all of the rules from the base game, there was one command card. We were not allowed to take pictures, but they said we were allowed to talk about anything that we played.
Oh, fun.
And so there was a command card that Caitlin had that she noticed was different, used a keyword differently than it exists today. And the keyword was, your override is treated as though it has range 5 this turn.
Okay.
Which is how it currently functions. And that card would do nothing in the game today.
Right.
Immediately, when she read that, she looked at, I think it was as Pagani was walking by, and was like, hey, what's this doing? He goes, huh. And just waddled away with his open-toed shoes.
Sandals were an interesting choice.
So I did explicitly ask if I was allowed to talk about that. And he said, I mean, you can tell people that that's what you saw, But yeah, that's not okay. We're not going to change that in the middle of the game. Okay. So I'm under the assumption that will be getting changed. That is the slightest little of leaks, but.
Well, that would, so if I had to interpret that, I would say that override is being changed to range 3, which might suggest that the default AI doesn't matter range may be either changing to range 1 or like going away completely.
They could change. They could bring them both in by 1, right? They could go from
they could do whatever, but
4 to 5, or 5 to 4, and from 3 to 3.
That's true. But if override is changing, then like it would suggest to me that the default of we don't care about AI would also change at the same time, because you would want to make override like more valuable than it is right now, because if you kept that the same and if override goes down to range 4, then it's like extra who cares about override compared to now when we barely care about override, right?
I think that it implies that the base bubble is gonna either shrink or go away, right?
I've used override twice in the like 25 games or whatever I've played with the Grievous Wheelbike list.
Because Kalani has it?
No, because the Super Tech has it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
You get all these keywords for free. I forgot where it was.
Right. Yeah. The Super Tech on top of everything else does in fact have override. It's barely ever something that matters now, but okay, maybe in the future it'll matter more, because you know what needed to happen was that the value of the generic super tactical droid needed to go up. Speaking of which, let's transition to talking about individual units that we think might change, and I'm just going to get started. For CIS, I was basically like, I was afraid to touch any unit that had AI anything, and so I was basically just thinking Sunfac and Kalani are both going to go up by 5, and then the generic super tech is going to go up by 5 for the commander, 10 for the operative, because the operative is way too good right now. But that's what I got. Isaiah,
you said Sunfac up how much?
Up by 5.
And what was your second one?
The Kalani up by 5.
Okay.
Because they just show up way too much right now, in my opinion. But yeah, what were your like handful of predictions, Isaiah?
Sunfac up by 10.
Okay. Real Sunfac hater over here.
Well, I think mine are going to be more aggressive in general than yours, probably.
Sure.
Because I think most of mine are in the 10 range. I said Maul down by 10.
Oh, that seems likely to me. Yeah, sure.
I think Maul down by 10.
He's not doing very well in CS right now.
And then Super Tax I found interesting. I think I want to talk about why. I don't think that the commander is better than the operative. I actually think it's worse.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you there.
Compared to a lot of the other factions where you get something for being a commander, you don't really. It's worse in the soup tax. So I could see. I don't know that this is going to happen. But 15 on the operative and maybe 5, or maybe even just stay the same on the commander, because I think you see the operative everywhere and you don't see the commander at all, right?
Yeah.
And if it eats up a command slot, I think it's a more competitive discussion, right?
Because when Kalani exists, there's just like not a great argument for the commander.
Yes and no. I mean, as a secondary commander, it could be good. As a
sure, like, but you're so often motivated to put a more expensive primary character.
It's more competitive. It's way more competitive. It has a slot, but it's way more competitive. And so I would like to see it. The operative feels like a give me, and I feel like the operative. I mean, same health pool between the two of them, and another courage, so you can just override and give out everything and do everything much more frequently.
Better for token sharing than the commander is because of aid.
And it has aid. And it's not unlike the others. There's no doctrine that is limited behind the commander, right?
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else has like one that's limited to the commander. Super Tac don't care. Super Tac do what it wants.
Super Tac don't care.
Sure, I'd like to see what it wants.
I'd like to see the operative come up. You know.
That's limiter override should have been named just do whatever you want. As far as upgrades go. Mike, what would your guesses be for actual points changes?
So I think there are 3 things that I think are sort of likely, and the only things that I think I want to see happen.
Okay.
And that's it. I actually think that like CIS, there are like a couple things that like need to get whomped on, and then there are like leave it alone. The first, this should come as no surprise to anyone. It's Wheelbike Grievous up 20 points.
Not happening.
Or takeaway is 1 pip. I don't care
Not
which
happening.
one you do, but one of those two things needs to happen, maybe both.
He told me I talked about things that were going to happen, not things I want. I wanted that, but
I think if they don't do that, it is a huge mistake.
Historically, they
historically
not done this.
But all I'm going to say is they hit marksman before they even were released out the door.
In a positive way.
Sure.
They hit
but
marksman.
They have shown that their agility as a studio is enough that they can enact these changes in a reasonable time frame to the consumer so that we don't have terrible games. Please make sure that happens. Thank you. Anyways,
man. Get rid of the 1 pip.
moving on. Limiter Override up by 5. Slice Comms up by 8. Done.
Okay.
No change to the base super attack.
No, I actually think so. I thought about this for a long time, and I actually don't like the issue with the super attack is not really.
It's not the body. It's
not the body.
It's the programming things.
Yeah. And I think particularly with my Empire list that I've been playing this week.
We'll talk about that next week, by the way.
Empire is gonna do it better.
Yep. I'm excited.
So I think that the whole Kalani aid package that CIS has is no longer going to be at the top of the heap. For good or for ill, we can maybe discuss the merits of multiple factions having access to 6 quadrillion tokens every turn as if they played Luminous without playing command card effects at a later date. However, from a fairness standpoint, I think CIS is not going to be out in front because of that anymore. So I think that we need to wait to see how that shakes out in a world where multiple factions have access to Kalani super type interactions before I would be willing to nerf the unit, I think.
Sure.
No, I hit it with a hammer.
I mean, I think hitting slice comms and override is still tacking 10 points onto those models.
That would make limiter override more expensive than overclock, which feels weird to me.
But there's still other good builds for it, even without that.
Maybe I meant overclock. It was whichever one is the
limiter override takes away the immobilized token.
Oh yeah. No, that one stays the same. I meant overclock.
Yeah, okay, overclock. That makes more sense.
You guys just got another apology. You guys are swimming in apologies, team.
Drowning in them.
So yeah, I think outside of that, I don't think those are the only changes we would see, because I think that they have telegraphed that, hey, CIS players, all your stuff's getting nerfed. Okay, thanks, bye.
I'm wondering if by the time I go to WTC, if I'm going to actually be playing Shadow Collective instead of CIS if things get really bad, since that will be an option. But anyway, we'll see when we get there. But I actually agree with you, Mike, because when you think about, okay, if you just have sort of a bare bones operative with Electrostaff and the Marksman Doctrine, that's actually fine for the cost. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not just fine. It's a pretty good melee unit for the cost. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 75 points for double rainbow with a target and
marksman. Yeah, and you can get an order on him pretty easily, and he could aid the aim over to Kalani still the way that he always can. But
for an extra 10 points, you can have a double activating Han Solo.
We'll get there, Michael. Hold your ammo.
Hold your fire.
But yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so let's move on to the fun one for you two, Republic. I'm gonna start with you, World Champ. What are the Republic changes, and did you increase anything? Is what I'm gonna start with, because I bet you didn't.
I will once again remind everyone that he said what I thought, not what I wanted.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, I did not say anything up. I picked the 3 that I thought would be the biggest changes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we will see heavies across the board go down because of how they've talked and what they said about the and how the AAT went down last time. So I put the Saber tank down either 10 points or 15 points. Reminder, the AAT went down 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Gav did not.
The
really
Gav
weird
did not.
situation.
No, none of the others did.
Yeah, none of the others did, exactly.
But they made it sound like that is going to be the trend, right? At least that was my opinion.
Yeah, they had said that on prior interviews for sure.
And the Saber Tech is currently the most expensive heavy.
Is it actually?
I expect. Yeah. What are you thinking is above it?
Yeah, after the AAT, the Saber became the most.
I guess Dark Troopers was
you could make a fully loaded Dark Trooper cost more, but nobody does that. So
I mean, yeah, if you're dumb, you can make things more expensive if you want to just pump stuff out. I mean, and there's like some argument for some things on Dark Troopers too. But I do think that the Saber coming down is realistic. I would like it down 15. 2/12 maybe too good. So maybe there's something there for 10, but I think 10 is kind of the minimum that has to come down to be seen on the table. And I want to see that thing on the table. It's so cool. I want to see it. ARFs, I would be very surprised if they don't come down.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I put them down 5 on the base and 2 on the duo, bringing it from 92 to 85 for a 6-man. I don't know that that's how that will shake out, but I think there will be some point cost there. Whether it is I think it will be split. I think it'll be some on the base, some on the duo, some on the heavy. Like, I don't think they want to do just all on one.
I think that's right.
I was thinking, like, what would you pay? Like, if they're going to bring down the Arc Duo, price that as a unit without a heavy, what would that come down? I was like, 7 points sounds in the realm of where they've adjusted some of the other range 4 options. So that's what I put that as.
Michael, I'm guessing you also have ARFs on your list. Is that correct?
They are on my list. I didn't put a price point on it. I'm going to be legit. 7 points off that 6-man unit ain't enough.
It's not enough.
It's got to be like, that unit's got to be like a little bit more than a marksman with a mortar.
So what I wrote down for ARFs was -6, and it'll still be too expensive. I just wanted to sort of like get all the ARF talk out of the way up front.
Yeah. I definitely anticipate them hitting ARFs because I don't think ARFs have really been put on the table at all, but I definitely don't expect it to be aggressive enough to actually have them hit the table. Yeah.
I agree.
If giving Super 5's infiltrate isn't enough, then it's not enough.
I don't think I would take them at 85, but I think that's where they can, like, I think that will be around where they will land. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
They seem to scooch down the special forces that are not showing up by like about 6 every time, is what they've done so far. And so far it also mostly hasn't resulted in those special forces all of a sudden seeing play. Like, you still don't see ISF, you still don't see commandos, et cetera, et cetera.
I do think, in our interview with them, they were talking about like, this is like more of like where they're kind of like fixing the things that they got wrong with 2.6. And I think that part of like what that was like anticipating the value
range
of
not only
range, not only long range stuff, but also of like the 5th guy in squads. I think I actually on my across the board list, I have just like heavy weapons across the game, like getting cuts because I actually think like, I'm not sure. I think in like all of the competitive games I played like across the weekend that like actually were like real games, I think there was maybe like 3 heavy weapons like across like 6 lists. Like your list, Evan, your Willie Greg list doesn't run heavy weapons.
I don't even know what heavy weapon. Well, sorry, I have the aqua heavy weapon.
Sure. My list had 1 shotgun in it, and that was it. And I think that they're just like, sure,
you ran 4.
Wow,
he's a real one over there.
But I actually think heavy weapons across the board. That's not just a GAR thing. I think that's just that is a Legion thing, and it is my hope that they have identified that as a thing that needs to.
Yeah. The 4 guys and a dude problem that we have talked about on the cast before. Interesting. So Isaiah, interrupted you with the RF talk. I think you probably have at least one more prediction.
All right. So you got to let me finish before you jump to conclusions.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Fluttercraft Bomber down 15. Now, here's why. So if you were to sell a new unit, first, when it was originally released, Overrun was not a big popular keyword. There was not a lot of Overrun. Overrun was a very powerful, very specific thing.
Yeah.
It was super good, but we limited it and we put it in a bucket and we said it's an expensive bucket. Here's the bucket. Not the case anymore. We have a lot more Overrun now. And if you sold me a new unit that was 6 health, like throwing 2 red, 2 white, Overrun 2, I like surging white health. I think
it's only Overrun 1, by the way.
That's cool. You're wrong.
Oh, is it? Oh,
okay.
It's been so long since I've played it. There you go. It's Overrun 2. I apologize.
Live corrections,
60
fam.
points for that unit is reasonable, right? Like 60 points feels like a reasonable take. Now, it'd be great. I'd love it. I still play it all the time. It's not good right now, but it could be good.
Overrun is generally like when the rules changed in it to care about the movement template and then displacement went away, like the ability to overrun with the bomber at all became actually a lot harder, especially for the non Wookiee Battle Force version because it doesn't fly as far. Because before you used to be able to just like sit your butt on top of a trooper and displace them with your compulsory move and go like, okay, I'm overrunning you with that. And then after that, I'm going to, do some other stuff and get more free overrun attacks. And now you have to angle it just the right way. It still has reposition, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. But I don't know, like it does feel way too expensive right now compared to the other overrun stuff out there. Mike, what do you got? What do you got?
So instead of making it cheaper, let's just make the gunner and the bomber a flip card.
Oh.
At 15 points or at the 20 points?
At the 20 points. You can at the top of activation, you can just choose to flip it.
Oh man, that would be so sick.
I don't know. I still wouldn't. It's 75 points.
I love how we just got 2 completely different reactions. Evan's over here like, oh, that would be amazing.
That would be incredible.
They're very fragile. They die real easy. I don't think at 75 it's worth it. It's
I don't know. It still shoots as good as a bark.
Because if you're up against like naked rebel troopers, then I would rather be overrunning them than trying to like shoot them with my Piercy gun.
The issue with that like kit is that it's like not flexible. It's like it does one thing really good, and if you're in the wrong matchup, it's just like completely useless.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a flip card, which I don't think is like unreasonable. It's not unreasonable that like the dude with the bowcaster has some bombs he's throwing off the back. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like that seems very reasonable for like some, I don't know. That's what I do.
The reason I brought it down so low is I was trying to compare it to some of the other overruns we've got recently that feels so much like
they're so much better.
I mean, the difference between the Fluttercraft and the Teemoos is 15 points.
I mean, that's because they're all
that's such
too
big
cheap
yikes.
right now. Like, let's be clear, and I know that that's not what we're talking about at this juncture, but like all of the stuff that is released in like the past, I don't know, 4 months and for
also
the
future month
and for the next 6 months or whatever are just like they are pushed as hell. And
so his opinion is that Mace Windu is too cheap. I just want everybody to note he just said
he's talking about all the overrun guys, not which Mace Windu is not. We will get to Mace Windu. Believe me.
Yeah,
believe
it's working.
Me. All right, so Mike, aside from the ARF change that you mentioned and anything else you talked about, what else do you have for Republic?
This is partially a hope, and I do think we're going to see some of it. I don't think we're going to see enough of it, but I expect the amount of it that we'll see to be non-zero. Is that I think squad leaders should and will come down. I don't know which ones will come down. I anticipate 5s in Ahsoka probably won't change, even though I think they probably should still come down like 5 points.
Rex, please.
But like. I think the backlash to Rex was probably enough that that has the possibility and potential to come down immediately. Since basically no one has ever put him on the table in the last 6 months.
Was he in any lists at Worlds?
I would be very surprised if he was.
In an upgrade capacity, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, he was in one of the top 4 lists, but no,
as a unit,
yes, not as an upgrade.
Yeah. And I just like It's interesting to me because I think 6 to 8 months ago, Republic was very hot on the whole medics thing, and all of a sudden they're just gone. Like
even in arcs, they just like they often don't show up anymore.
And so I feel like kind of going back to the like, what did we hit on 2.6 wise? What did we not hit on 2.6 wise? I feel like the squad leader slot has kind of missed a bit, and so I'm expecting to see changes there.
I would like to see clone commander squad leaders again. I don't think that it's crazy to bring those back down. Like the era of arcs has long been over.
I'd like to just weigh this in. Clone Captain Rex, a 3% take rate on Clone Trooper Infantry for top 64. There was one of him.
Okay.
In the top 64.
Whoever you are, you're a brave person.
Brave soul.
If
like try to find how close to the bottom they are.
Hats off to, for running Rex upgrade before any of the battle cards came out that actually make him usable.
Before we say that actually happened, I think it is more likely that Longshanks has just read Tabletop Admiral or Legion HQ incorrectly. that someone actually brought that up.
This is possible. Okay, so we've already talked about, like, I thought maybe Flutter's down by 5 globally, and I already talked about Arfs. Here's where I'm going to get the Wookiee stuff out of the way. I believe it was on X and 1 that it was mentioned that the Wookiee fixes are going to be two tiered, and that one of the first part, so to speak, is coming out in April, and then the next part would be later. What I think they mean by that is that they're going to get a points decrease, and then probably when the upgrade pack comes out is that there's going to be a Wookiee only upgrade that makes them like further better. So,
and we did see their point cost of the Warriors was at least on the promo the same. Right?
No, it was 90.
Here's what I was getting to. Is that there was a hilarious misprint, and it was confirmed as a misprint. I think that it's hilarious because currently the points cost of Wookiee Warriors is 69 points, and on the promo card, the foily version, it is 90 points for the base squad. The text on the card is exactly the same, but for anybody that wanted to look at that stuff, it was something that I noticed right away, and I was sad that X and 1 got to it before I could because their interview was first, because I was like, hey, look at this. Thanks for fixing Wookiees. But it was confirmed that was a misprint. What I think might be the situation there is that it is possible that means that the Wookiee plus Battle Shield, which is 100 at base, maybe that they were like considering that a quote unquote full Wookiee squad, and that so therefore they're going to take everything down by 10. I think that's possible.
Pass that copium over here, fam.
I guess that's the question, is like if you bring all the Wookiees down by 10, I think that Wookiee Battle Force is still like fine because their command cards are still hot garbage. And
I didn't touch Wookiees because I assumed the Wookiee keyword change. It's kind of like the Droid Trooper change where it's like,
I keep hoping for it, but again, this is where I'm fatalistic compared to you guys being fatalistic about like, you know, arcs or about ARFs or whatever. I will believe it when I see it. I've been hurt too much for me to believe that anything good is going to happen to Wookiees, so I'm just not going to acknowledge the possibility and move on with my life.
Like, so let's just like extrapolate the scenario that you.
We're spending more time on it.
Yes. So, like, do you think adding one Wookiee squad to Wookiee Defenders is like even like enough? Because like that's basically what that change would do. It's not enough, right?
No.
Like it doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes it does cross the threshold for like, okay, that's a lot of stuff to chew through.
Those command cards still do nothing.
I mean, that's true. But
and I didn't even mention Wookiee Chieftain because I keep forgetting that he's a real unit in the game.
What about Chewbacca?
Oh yeah, there's that guy too. Like I you know, all these, I have voids in my brain of where normally I would think about these units because I'm a content guy for Star Wars Legion podcast, but for the sub faction that's actually, you know, really my favorite, which is the reason why I brought it to Worlds last year, and why I was extra sad when it got literally nerfed en route to the to the tournament. Thanks again, Mowgli. But that experience wounded me so much that I switched to like the completely opposite philosophical direction for
he
the
turned
world
into
this
a
year.
degenerate wheelbike Grievous player.
A meta chaser. Disgusting. So yeah, I'm just not going to acknowledge that that Wookiees are going to be in a place that feels fun to me. So let's just move on. Let's talk about
I'm
Rebels.
the Rex player.
All right, talking about Rebels, I'll start this time. I think that Rebel Commandos are going to be further decreased by another smidgen that will probably still leave them wanting, in my opinion. I think that they might go down 8 between the base and the heavy is like my guess. And then I think Taun's -5, I think actually feels sort of appropriate, honestly, at this point. And then Cassian, is something going to happen to Cassian? I want to believe that Cassian's going to go up by 5, but because at least there, it's not a situation where people, like, the reason I don't think Grievous is going to happen is because people paid money for Grievous. And it's tough when you pay money for a new release and then you nerf it right away.
Like the rest of us didn't pay money for our units.
No, but what I'm saying is that nobody bought, like almost nobody, as far as I know, like bought the Cassian model in order to get the Cassian upgrade, unless if you're a new player, I guess. But whatever. I think that it's like less tough to change the upgrade so soon compared to doing a full unit. But anyway, Michael, let's go to you next. What do you think about Rebels? What's going to happen?
Rebels, no changes. Move on.
No changes.
That's what I got. I think. First of all, I do think that it is likely the Rebels have the least changes out of everybody.
They feel mostly okay, aside from there's a few units that see almost no play.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with that.
I don't think much in Rebels feels overpowered except for the Cassian upgrade specifically.
I actually think the Cassian upgrade is fine.
Oh my God. Here we go again. Mike, you're going to have to explain yourself because this is very different from what your opinion was 6 months ago, except 5 months ago.
I have played a ton with and against the Cassian squad.
Okay.
It is very fragile. You can pretty easily kill it. Additionally, every army in the game
is now going to have flamethrowers.
Is going to have a Mando flamethrower.
You're right.
At least one. At least one.
Yeah, you're
if not 2, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid you can put those flamethrowers on like a core unit, which is entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just I don't see a world where I think the Cassian squad should get changed.
Man.
I think, don't get me wrong,
the fickle voice of Mike Berry.
Cassian, I think, is at the very, very farthest on the threshold of like, this is really, really good, and if it was any better, I think you hit it. But I think it's like it's in a sweet spot, I think, in my opinion.
All right. An interesting opinion. I don't quite agree, but Isaiah, what do you think about Rebels?
Cassian up 10.
That's the only one you have?
No. Walking Luke down 5.
Who? We're calling him Walking Luke now?
Walking Luke.
It's like so there's mounted Luke, and then there's jumping Luke, which I guess is operative Luke, and then we have walking Luke.
Well, okay. Also, jumping Luke has
about.
like a swagger to his walk. He's like striding Luke.
Yeah, he's striding. He's courage 4. When you're courage 4, you don't simply walk.
Yeah. So walking Luke down 5.
You mean Commander Luke?
Sure.
No, you don't, because the Tauntaun Luke has the subtitle Commander Luke Skywalker. Sorry, I'm doing the words thing again. All right, sorry. Keep going, Isaiah.
Commander Luke, who's on his legs to move across the board, I believe should go down 5 points. Yeah. Probably more, but I think 5 is probably realistic. Tauns, I believe, are probably going to go down 10.
10 seems like a lot now.
10 seems like a lot, but I think that they're going to go down in order to be more viable with the HanTaun release.
The
I think,
and then like I said, Cassian up 10, and AMG, please don't listen to Mike. Move him up 10. I don't.
So it's interesting. I guess like neither of you guys were thinking that the various special forces / support options that see basically no play, that being commandos and FDs, and I mean, shoot, like the rebel supports, what do they have? They have FDs, they have ATRT, and then what else do they even have? Am I just like forgetting something?
I think that's it.
FDs could come down. RTs feel fine to me.
RTs are fine. RTs are fine.
I think FDs are actually unfixable without an errata.
I like FDs. I think they're fun.
I wonder if
I'm not saying they're not fun, to be very clear.
And I think they're better with some of the new objectives.
Maybe I could potentially see that, but I do think that like in the world that we've been living in, like I just don't see like what points value without them being free you would be like willing to put them on the table and like feel great about it. Not being able to move is a big deal in this game.
If you allow stationary to extend out to range 1 beyond a deployment zone, like I don't even know if that's enough, you know.
I think if it was me, I would say that if you are immobile, you cannot move, you can like contest POIs at like some absurd range, like range 1 or range 2 instead of half range. I think that would range 2 is a long way. but like I don't know. I think something like that would go a long way into making the FD like, oh yeah, like I can put this FD on the table and it still is like counting as a POI score for the middle on like you know, you can't like contest your you know, and you're like laying down fire, right? Like it's not unreasonable that thing is contributing towards holding that POI, right? Like,
so I think what you want is just to model an Omega, like just put a little Omega model on your FD, and then you're set up. That's what you want, right?
just give the FD "I'm part of the squad too" as a keyword, and then just leave it alone.
and I think it would be fine, honestly. Like I don't think that would like break the unit or anything.
It would be fine. It would be fine.
And I think
I agree. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that it would go a long way to making that unit actually playable.
Yeah, I agree. You're totally right that it is not about the raw dice situation with the FD or the range or whatever. It's about the fact that it can't move.
You're going to pay 70 points to be -1 unit for scoring. Nice.
Very nice. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Empire. This is where I have the juiciest prediction out of all of them, actually. But Isaiah, let's go back to starting with you.
Let's get the meme out of the way, range troopers.
Range? Say it.
Just up.
Yeah.
Up 10. No, actually, I do think range troopers are probably going to go back down 10. That was one of mine.
Now that's been a full year since the change that never should have happened in the first
A change that never should have happened, but it was in line. That change was in line with their original philosophy on range 4 costs.
True.
Right? They have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marksmen
maybe they have changed.
Marksmen came way down, right?
I think that was more about the super squad.
That was a super squad philosophy change more than anything, I think.
Because they also changed the clone infantry squad, I think, at the same time.
They changed the base cost of the Marksmen also, though. So there was a little bit of
points,
both.
Right?
6, I think.
Because they were more expensive than infantry, weren't they?
Yes, they were actually.
I thought they were 2 points more, so they came down 8 points.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I mean, on a core unit is like the world.
Right. Right.
So I think they're going to come back down 10 because I don't know that that's enough, but I'm not convinced it's not. I saw them some on the table before they went up 10. They're slow, but they have some mean dice they can throw at range. Like, okay.
Can I inject my hot take now?
Do it.
I think Empire shouldn't get touched at all.
Hang on, Mike.
Pending the high command stuff.
Before we get into that, because like again, next week there's going to be a lot of Thrawn talk next week. I
actually wasn't going to talk about Thrawn right here. I was going to talk about somebody else who's in that pack that starts with T.
Oh, you mean Tag, the guy that has double the command cards as Mace Windu? Just kidding. You're talking about Tarkin. You're talking about Tarkin.
Yeah. I actually think that like Empire needs the breaks, and if there's like substantial buffs to Empire, whoa.
So for what it's worth, Mike, I did think about this with my predictions because I knew that like the value of a lot of non-unique troopers is about to go way up in Empire.
Yeah.
But Thrawn and Tarkin don't. It feels like they don't change the math much on other units in Empire that are also never seen play, such as Iden or the Gav. Those things aren't really affected by those, and so I think that both of those could just like go down by 15 because they're horrendously overexpensive right now.
Okay, I think that's fine. Maybe touching nothing is an overreaction.
Sure.
However, I do think caution advised. That's what I would say.
I think that they're going to get a lot better, but I still think there are units that are off. Like their internal curve is still off in some places, right?
Like
so
Iden has 115 points. That is as much as Asajj Ventress costs.
Yes. Yeah.
I do agree that the win rate of the faction overall is about to start like.
Oh, it's going to go up.
As a guard player, I'm looking in the rearview mirror, just seeing it.
I'm just gonna hot swap. Honestly, Empire has like so much more cool stuff than Republic ever has had. I'm out. I'm on the Thrawn train, man. Get me out of this house. I am done with Republic.
Thomas, if you're listening, I might have to flex my power as team captain for WTC and just like make you play CIS instead of me so that I can play the break. Just kidding. I won't do that. I might still go to Shadow Collector though if CIS gets bad enough. But so Mike, you're officially like I can hear you hoping for no Empire changes, but what are you actually predicting is going to happen?
Well, I got one done. I got through one.
Oh, you got through one, Isaiah. Sorry.
Yeah,
what else you got? What else you got?
I got robbed. I think range troopers down 10 because I think that'll put them where they were.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Iden down 15, exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think scouts up 4.
Ooh, that would be an impressive amount of prescience if they did that. I agree that should happen.
Oh, I disagree. I think that unit just disappears when it gets shot. I don't think that's necessary.
Michael, we ranked it in the A rank in our tier list, by the way.
That doesn't mean it needs to get nerfed. That's like this is what I'm saying. Like it's okay that units are good. Just because a unit is good does not mean it needs to lose to like be more points.
I'm specifically wondering, like, do they really want for people to be running like 6 scouts and 5 probe droids in a Tempest list?
It feels
maybe
kind
they
of
don't care.
Including.
Maybe they don't care.
I mean, let me just I want to challenge that assertion for a second.
Sure.
That's legit like what that battle force should be.
Yeah. I mean, for a bunch of scouts, I agree. The probe droids make it feel a little bit weird, but
sure. But that's like that has less to do with the scouts and like way more to do with
the probe droids,
the decisions for probe droids to be attached.
Sure.
Right, like so. But like, should 6 scouts be like a thing in Tempest? Like, yeah, of course. That's all it's on that moon.
That's fair.
I mean, Tempest, I think it's fine. Like, I'm not necessarily looking at Tempest, but just looking at. I feel like I see scouts in almost every Empire list. It feels
very good.
The other special forces options are wanting in Empire at the moment.
I also think Death Troopers will see more play. Yeah, I do still think they should come down a little bit, but I think security detail is better than I give it credit for. So
yeah, specifically for Tarkin related reasons is your biggest thought about that,
and
right?
Thrawn related reasons. I just like High Command. Those characters are super good. So
Well, I mean, yeah, like giving backup to Thrawn is going to be good no matter what. But like,
he also
Stormtroopers could do that. Right? That's fair. But doesn't Thrawn naturally surge to block or something?
No, he's only
he doesn't.
He's just not surging to block.
Oh,
he has duelist.
Oh, right.
And he generally has a dodge token hanging around, so he'll be immune to piercing melee. But
yeah. That's fair. Any other predictions from your end, Mike?
My predictions. So my funny one is Inquisitors down 70, each.
70
to what they're about worth.
You could have said 30, and then it would have been like still a hilarious, but accurate take.
This man lives in a wild world.
Yeah. No, I mean obviously that one's a joke. I think it's not impossible for like Dark Troopers to actually be getting buffed if this was written 4 months ago.
Oh God. But they already chopped their points in the November update.
Sure.
So they were already touched. I feel like they would wait until they did it again.
I think that it is I'm using this as an example because I think it is extremely likely that several things in Empire get buffed that like definitely shouldn't.
It's funny how one release is changing so much.
Yes. Yeah. Like I think it's definitely possible that like Riot Control loses like 3 or 4 points. And I actually think Riot Control is really good with Thrawn and Tarkin.
Are we able to say the Riot Control Squad is no longer a Riot Control Squad tier unit in Empire?
They're good. You guys put them way too low in your last tier.
Turns out when you can attack with them 3 times in a row in the same turn, they become significantly stronger.
And also when they can move with one step ahead,
yes.
It certainly changes the math on that as well.
Yeah.
So okay.
And I guess that's kind of what I'm saying generally is that like I don't know, High Command changes the ball game on what a lot of these units should and shouldn't cost.
It's gonna be interesting.
It will be interesting if these are like, oh man, Empire sucked before, so we got to buff them. But now High Command is here, therefore they're just destroying everyone.
For what it's worth, I forgot that range troopers and both the Inquisitors existed as units, and that was the only reason I did not also consider them.
I think if they have foreshadowed this, I actually think that it's entirely possible range troopers don't change at all. I'm not saying that is like a thing that should happen, but I do think that like pull the strings on range troopers is probably pretty good.
Yeah, but if you can be pulling the strings on short troopers instead, then sort of what's the point, right?
It's like ARBs to marksman.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Maybe.
Why?
It requires less aim tokens to like shoot across the board on turn 1.
Fewer aim tokens, Michael.
What? Are you like messing with my English right now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, get out of here. We're not here for English. We're here for Star Wars Legion.
We'll do it again in Festivus, maybe.
Yeah. So, normally, like if you were pulling the strings on short troopers, it is costing you aim tokens. You have to spend aims on long shot.
Yes.
You have to spend aims that you have from somewhere else. Whereas if you're pulling the strings on range troopers, you are netting aim tokens. You are not only not spending it on long shot, but you're also getting aim tokens from the keyword from the advanced targeting or whatever it is, right? So you're actually like picking up synergy there. So you'll have
that's a good thought. I didn't think about that.
3 aim tokens on Thrawn plus 2 more from Tarkin, right? So like I don't know. That's just I'm illustrating this use case because the relative value of a range trooper is gonna increase dramatically. Will that make them good enough to take at their current points value? Who the hell knows? Right? The answer might still be no, but I do think that it might be a little bit too early to just like, let's rain them down 20 points or whatever. I don't know.
We shall see. I do agree that High Command changes the value of every generic trooper unit in an Empire to a certain degree, and that will make things interesting. Okay, so for the sake of timeliness, we're going to cover mercenaries super quick.
Sorry, Shadow Collective, you're not a faction.
So for mercenaries, let's do one prediction each, starting with Isaiah.
Pike's down 2 because the mercs, the new mercs, weak ways are just better.
And Mandalorians are also going to be better. But I think Pikes are still sort of in another zone. Mike, what do you got?
I think everything that can go into Shadow Collective other than swoops and AA5s come down between 2 and 5 points.
I could see that. I wonder if they would do that for Black Suns also.
I don't know. Nobody's
It's probably fine if they did that for Black Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could honestly see that. I agree that they should leave swoops alone.
Yeah,
and that
swoops
they
are
probably will.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, they have a free move with speed 3, which is good no matter what, and then overrun just makes that better.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that Cad's gonna scooch down by another 10. And I still wonder if people are going to play him because of his whole dice pool situation.
I said 15 on Cad.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, when you are the butt of the ongoing joke in this podcast about, achieving the ranged attack pool of Cad Bane, it means that, like, at base level, your unit is not in a very good situation. So we will see what happens. For generics, for generic upgrades, I basically looked at everything and I was like, okay, my hope is that they keyed into the fact that of the new Force upgrades that came out in the June update of last year, that you will sometimes hear tales of clairvoyance. I have not seen it across the table from me yet. I like people.
It's like
on
a
our
mythical
Trooper,
creature.
Yeah, like people on our Fifth Trooper Discord were like, "I've seen to clairvoyance just the other day. it was out there in the forest." But I still have not seen it. Mike still hasn't seen it. Isaiah, have you seen it?
Nope.
All of us play lists with Jedi decently often. Have any of us thought of including clairvoyance once in a list?
Nope.
No. And then along with that,
in my WTC list for what it's
fair. Along with that, tranquility, which I have neither seen nor heard of, and then my most hilarious one, terror. I think that all of those are going down by 5, which would make terror 1 point. And would create the fabled 1-point upgrade that so many players have been hoping for to even out their list for a long time. It still would basically never matter. But anyway.
You could stack that and it could be mean.
You think multiple tears on multiple Inquisitors would... remember, you can't be engaged for it to be on, and you have to be a range 2.
I hear you, but suppression lists are making a resurgence, it feels like.
I think that upgrade could be 1 point and it still wouldn't get taken.
I'm on Mike's side here. But we will see. I legitimately do not think that they're going to make it 1 point, but I think that would be very funny. Mike, what do you have for generic upgrades? There's one I did not say that will be noticeable to people that listen to this podcast. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I think Force Push should be 25 points or less, maybe 20. I think it depends on where they put the super attack abilities. If they don't mess with the super attack abilities at all, I think it should come down. Obviously, I don't know. We'll see. That's, I guess, maybe more of a wish list item at this juncture. But I actually think that we are going to see sweeping changes to upgrades across the board.
I love that.
I think that it is likely that if they're holistically looking at like the game and how it has evolved since 2.6 and kind of the evolution of everything that's happened, I think as a game dev you may have identified that, like, hey, people don't really take that many upgrades nowadays because having high activation count armies like just matters way more. And so maybe we should scale back the costs of some of these things. Maybe offensive push at 6 is too much. Maybe recon intel at 8 is too much, should recon intel be 2? Probably not. But I think that it is if they're hitting it in the way that they say that they're like holistically kind of like looking at that, I expect a lot of things to come down 1 or 2 points. Just a little here, a little there, kind of like tweaking some knobs and dials. And I don't think it's unreasonable that 50% of the upgrades in the game could get hit. That seems, with just like little tweaks like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be really healthy. I think that would, there are a lot of upgrades that just like never, ever, 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 ever get taken.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the generic upgrades feel like they're just like not all that meaningful generally.
I think that's part of it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you think about like precision scopes, like you're paying 4 points to be getting like extra rerolls when you have them. it's the sort of thing to where it just doesn't feel like it's worth 4 points. But then so many of them do so little that it almost like doesn't even matter to talk about how much they cost until they become like 1 point or 0. And then it suddenly matters that you're basically just like upgrading every unit that has that slot.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a weird thing. Isaiah, what do you got for generics?
End of the fray up 4, and it's still not enough.
Wow. You think it's that much of an issue? Why?
I think it fundamentally changes units from what they're designed to be at, especially like force users. They become
if we're going to have that conversation, we're going to have to talk about Thrawn.
I mean, or like the other on is up close and personal, up 25 points for Grievous, and it's still not enough, right? But I think it is its effect on certain units is so outsized to how it works to everybody else, that it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the interaction between Into the Fray and Exemplar/Aid, if anything, is the problem, so to speak.
I think surge tokens just shouldn't be shareable outside the clone trooper keyword.
There it is. There's a spicy take that we were searching for. Clone man wants only clones to have surging saves again. So Mike, it's worth noting that situation would basically invalidate the Stormtrooper Battalion and also General Tag.
Good.
Even though I think we're acknowledging that General Tag is probably going to be the least taken guy out of that 4-pack.
I think that Krennic might also see 0 table time now, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Okay, so yeah, I guess those are our predictions. I know that this episode is going to come out over a week before the actual points happen, but I wanted to make sure that Isaiah was on for so that we can have a repeat of these are comparatively tame, and maybe that's my fault because I was asking for what you think will happen versus what you hope will happen, but like being who we are, a little bit of our hopes snuck in there. That's for sure. Mike, I'm honestly surprised that you actually think that force push will go down.
I don't know if it's that I will. It's that I just sometimes you really gotta believe in the force, and you gotta believe that the things that you say over and over and over and over and over and over and over again are heard,
It's like you came to the opposite conclusion of what I came to with Wookiee Troopers, for instance.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that here's the thing. I think it is the easiest solution to make force users in this game that we love so much, that's primarily about force users from like a narrative standpoint. Like they are all the main leader of the stories in like minus like Andor, right? Or Solo, I guess. But like at the end of the day, like the core narrative plot of like every Star Wars story ever has like somebody with a lightsaber with force powers doing cool stuff. And I think it's a real shame that they are not allowed to do cool stuff regularly.
Force push up 5.
I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't say, repeat again that 3 out of the 4 lists in the top 4 of Worlds had it, and
it's like
so
an auto include. You got to jack that baby up.
So what do you do about the Vader Dooku maybe Yoda situation in terms of all those units functionally going down in cost by decreasing force push?
I don't think any of those lists like really change if they net 15 points back, like foundationally. Like what they maybe like, that's not even a heavy weapon for most armies unless you're like Rebels, which isn't on that list. We're talking about like maybe you like get a tenacity or an Into the Fray or like an HQ uplink on like a unit. Like we're not talking about like a ton of points, and like I don't know.
Justin Fleming could have put 3 additional upgrades on a super tack with those 15 points.
That's a super tech problem. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think that the relative cost of it, again, I think those are the 3 units that it is mandatory on, and you have to take it. Otherwise, those units are kind of not good enough. Those 3 units being Yoda, Vader, and Dooku, and like you just don't take it anywhere else. And the units that like also have it as a mandatory ability that aren't good enough don't see play. I'm looking at you, Operative Luke. You can't play Operative Luke without Force Push, and Operative Luke is just like, I can't tell you the last time I saw that dude on the table. It's been like at least.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, right?
I played him 2 weeks ago.
We didn't ask you, Isaiah.
Yeah, get out of here. Anyways, we don't need to get into a Force Push rant, but we're already sort of like down the rabbit hole. But
I have a short pitch for you on Force Push.
Sure.
All right. This is kind of just changing Force powers in general. I think we need to split Force powers into 1 or more categories. I think that because Force powers were originally reintroduced as a super limited slot that was only available to mega elite units,
sure,
that has largely changed. I would love to see whether it is some kind of like Force abilities and then like grand Force ability or something like that, or this ability is tapped for everyone is expended for everyone except for those with like those who you were kind of mentioning, the Dookus, the Yodas, the Vaders, who can get them back. Like some kind of either limiting them to them or making them significantly better when used by those characters.
I think this could very easily be done by just like being like, there are Force powers that require you to have Master of the Force. Like you just have to have it on your unit card, otherwise you can't take it.
And isn't that even more limiting than it is now?
Well,
because,
it allows you.
Your
It allows
Vaders and
you.
Dooku's already take it.
It allows you to make 2 copies of Force Push and price them appropriately.
Well, and if you wanted to, you could come out with some crazy awesome Force powers that require Master of the Force too.
Right.
We will see. Like we've heard there's new Force powers coming in this next upgrade pack, and
hopefully they're better than this latest 3.
Than Terror, Tranquility, and Clairvoyance do. But speaking of characters in whom their base cost feels like it prohibits putting 40 points on top of that, Mike, you played a couple games, I believe, with one Macemum Windu. And how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, he's a dude with Force Push, I guess. So a couple caveats, because I can already hear the people in the comments. They're like, we don't know what Vapod does. We don't know what the generic
Mike
one
making
pip
fun of the
does.
listeners again.
I am, and I'm going to keep doing it because you guys actually responded really well to it last time.
Yeah, actually,
So.
you guys appreciated it. I think we got a couple additional patrons. So yeah, please continue to be abusive to our listeners. Go ahead, Mike.
So we will encourage the abusive relationship here. So I just want to be clear that, like, yes, we understand that. We get it. We are making some assumptions on what Vapod does, and we are obviously not playing with its generic 1 pip because we don't have the text. So frame this discussion in that mind frame. Great. Out of the way. Mace is... he's a dude with a lightsaber with Force Push, which is to say that, like... with no command cards. His command cards don't do anything. Like, the 2 pip and the 1 pip, like, they just... I actually think the 1 pip got him killed.
Because you were too aggro with the wounding?
Well, so here's the thing. In the first game, I was like, okay, my opponent decided to just not shoot Mace to turn off a pod. So I was like...
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How you were playing Vapod? Were you playing where it has to be engaged?
We were playing Vapod as... you get 1 white die on attack and defense for each wound you have up to 3. You do not have to be engaged to turn, just like normal Vapoddon. When you play the command card, you obviously need to be engaged to turn on the dice.
That's just what I want to know. Is were you playing? Okay.
Yeah, that is the assumption we're running under. Obviously, the text of a pod could be different, right?
Yep, right.
So we're giving them the benefit of the doubt that it doesn't require me to engage, because that would be real bad.
That would be very bad.
So, the first game I played, my opponent just didn't shoot Mace because they didn't want to turn Vapad on. So he was just like, I'm 4 Pierce 2, which is like to say that he's like a Yoda that attacks once. You know? Okay. Right? So I was like, all right. I don't really want to get him killed. There's like a Cassian super squad over here. I don't want to like, mess around with stuff. I was like, I'll play as 1 pip. I'll just take 1 wound, turn tenacity on, get an extra red die, do the thing, whatever. Didn't, like, he killed a unit. Okay. It was like a 5-man squad that he probably was going to kill anyways. It didn't really make him much better. Opponents still didn't shoot him because they didn't want to mess around with it. I lost that game handily. Because their Vader was attacking me 4 times a turn because they had Thrawn and Tarkin and, they're like implacable, pull the strings.
Yeah, Vader has command cards that do things.
Yeah, Vader has the command cards that do things. So their Jedi was just like butchering my army, and my Mace was like, I'm going to try and kill this unit.
Great.
So in the second game, I was like, all right, well, maybe I just need to like get super aggro with him and just like dump it out. So I was like, all right, I'm going to burst a speed turn 1 and like get in there with Rex. So I did that. I like charged a unit turn 1. I played as 1 pip. I'm like, I take 3 wounds. And I'm like, let's go. He killed a unit, and then they shot at him and he had Vapad and he died because I whiffed. I was like, all right. Well, that's cool. So like
on the 1 pip turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he doesn't get red dice when he's
because
like he killed a unit and then he's just like out in the wind or they disengaged and like Vapad's like you get 1 extra save maybe, it's just like all right. Yeah, I don't know. Barring Vapad doing extra stuff and barring that 1 pip doing something spicy, which I think is probably not likely because every Jedi in that pack can take that 1 pip, so like they'd probably have to be more careful with it than they ordinarily would.
Also, the text we can read of it being the like 5 red dice.
Yeah,
right.
It reads like ordnance, sort of.
I think
it reads kind of like the ordnance text, which if it just like hands out suppression, it's probably just like not good.
It's probably like give out a suppression for every hit and something for crits and blanks. Like maybe nothing for blanks and maybe something for crits or surges, or maybe something for crits and something else for surges.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna change the name of the game, so to speak.
So let me put it this way. I think I said this in like our private toxic chat, but if I had a Jedi General with General of the Republic, Force Push, Burst of Speed, Tenacity into the fray, there might have been 1 more upgrade on there. I think it clocks in at like 166 points. Okay.
Yeah.
If Mace was the same cost as that unit, as if they were both 166, and Mace also had Burst of Speed, Force Push, Tenacity into the fray, I would take the Jedi General. And you all know how I feel about that unit.
Yeah, we do.
So that unit at least would have 2 command cards that sort of did something, right? It's got the like 3 pip move your guys, which is not great, but it's better than nothing. And the 1 pip that it's like, at least I got to stand by and you kind of have to like respect it a little bit, And
those units are currently 166 to 221.
Yes. There's a 60-point difference in those units. And like, if they were the same cost, I'd still take the Jedi General. And like, and honestly, the damage is on the charge is really not even that different.
With the double bladed, like when you have the 2 aims, like it's not that different.
It's not that different. And the Jedi General brings like support abilities. He's got bolster, he's got direct any clone unit. I think it's any clone unit. Like he's actually like doing stuff. Mace has compel. You know how many times I used that over the course of 2 games? 0. Like it just, I don't know. I have no good things to say. And that's
Isaiah, do you have good things to say about Mace Windu? In theory, I know you probably haven't tested with him yet, but I'm curious to hear what the
I don't know.
former world champ thinks.
I'm a unwashed man. I'm not world champ. I'm
I did say former.
a little bit. I am hopeful that new force powers are going to be nice to help him out. But I really, unless they do something like what we were talking about, like limiting things to master the force or limiting things, something like that, I don't see it. I think Cabela is a little bit better than nothing, just because of the I think suppression lists are going to be more common. I don't like that it's just core trooper. I wish it was core special forces.
I think if it was
compel, man,
I would say if it was compel, I think like just standard compel, I still don't think he would be good. However, the units that I care about compel on are like arcs.
Arcs, yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That might change with more squad leaders that are going to be Jedi.
Maybe.
And maybe not, but that might be a nice way to be like, my Ahsoka squad is going to hit you like a truck, and then followed by my Shakti, followed by my Plo Koon, followed by my Mundi.
Right? I also played Shakti in that list in weak ways.
Well, but we didn't even know what Shakti. Oh, we know what the upgrade cost.
I did.
Sorry,
I did. It was the squad leader.
Yeah, the upgrade. Yeah. How did that feel?
It was fine. I probably wouldn't do it again. Weak ways just kind of die.
Yeah, they die.
I like her with a shotgun in a regular squad. I actually think that's pretty fun.
What?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you not?
I mean, she doesn't give charge, and Ahsoka does.
No, I mean, no, I'm not saying necessarily an exclusion. Well, okay, one, Ahsoka's also 13 points more expensive.
It's worth it for charge.
Right, but those don't have to be an either or. I like the idea of a second melee threat shotgun that could be possibly the target of like a Yoda Relentless, or could be the target of, if you have some extra movement shenanigans, can be really good. I mean, yes, not having charge sucks. But I mean, you're talking about a 100-point unit that throws 4 black, 2 red, or 4 red, pierce 2 in melee. That's a pretty mean pool.
I mean, if you're gonna take a 100-point unit that does that, you might as well just take like the Jedi Guardian in an arc squad, right?
Yeah,
it's cheaper. It's 92,
more reliable attack dice.
Yeah. I don't know. I would be interested to see how you felt about this a month from now.
Once I've experienced it.
Yeah. There's a lot of time left. But Mike, you also experimented a little bit with somebody that we might say is perhaps at the opposite side of the pointed spectrum, which is a Mr. Operative Han Solo sitting on a Tauntaun. 90 points again. How was that, Michael?
So he was much better than I anticipated.
That's a lot.
and my expectations were already very high. Yeah, that unit is cracked. You definitely should play the 1-pip on turn 1.
Yeah.
If somebody is telling you not to, they're wrong.
I agree. We'll see what Brian thinks next week, but
I mean, there might be situations where you don't, but my God, that unit just destroys. You can basically, if that unit is on the table, you can never ever just have like a I have two squads on this point, and they got it.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're just gonna die.
They are just dead, man.
And one of them might be dead by the end of round 1, maybe.
That is what happened.
Yeah.
We were playing contact. And he just, it was not great.
It's like if you're like, let's say you have a mortar, right?
Yeah.
And you prepare positions them out there, and even if he takes a standby, which Han won't care about, then like the mortar's just gonna die. Like, and there's literally is there anywhere that Han can't get to on round 1 when he is moving 4 times?
It's like really, like you have to be really far away. You got to be like in a corner that
hiding
is not
in the corner,
touching
like,
a deployment zone. Type deal. And like the thing that I found perhaps the most crazy about Han was like my original thought process of how Han was going to work is like he's going to take a flank, he's going to kill a couple units, and then he's just going to sit over there. But the reality of the situation is that he goes over there, he takes the flank, and then like a naked core unit or something goes over there and sits on that point, and then he's in the fight the next turn. Like he's there because he can move another 4 times. And like it's crazy.
And as we talked about, he has the command cards that enable him to like very, very much do whatever he wants, including change of plansing your opponent's round 2 play into sorry about the mess to like extra, do whatever the hell you want, and like the list goes on. 90 points.
You were asking for things that we thought were going to happen today points wise, but on my wish list that I wrote down was Han Solo operative nerfed immediately.
It would literally mean he is nerfed before he releases, so it'd be the opposite of the marksman situation.
He's out already.
Is he out now? Yeah, you can buy him. Okay, there you go. Well, all right, so it'd be very similar to the marksman situation. I mean, I'm pretty on the record as saying that I just think that as a company, they're smart enough to not want to be in the position of like doing the gotcha move of nerfing a thing right after it releases. But I could see it happening like 2 months from now.
We'll see. I mean, that unit is ridiculous, though.
It's ridiculous, and I'm just like gonna try to once again call our shot and tell everybody we tried to warn you about this. Isaiah, do you also agree? Do you want to buck the trend and say that operative Han ain't actually that hot? You go ahead, Isaiah.
Oh no, he's cracked, dude. He's gonna beat me within an inch of my life. I'm looking at other units that are in the same cost range as him, and I'm like,
Chewbacca.
I mean, I was looking at Hondo.
Republic
like,
Chewbacca,
God.
by the way.
I mean,
Wookiee Chieftain is more expensive.
Is Cody 90 now instead of
Cody's 95?
Okay, so he's cheaper than both Rex and Cody, which is just wild.
He is about the cost of 3 Rex squad upgrades. Less than, actually.
He's less than 3.
Significantly less than 3.
You could take a Jedi Knight without a lightsaber. For his
take
or
1.5 arc strike teams.
You could take 1.5 R2s.
He's actually like, I don't know. You could slap tenacity on him, and he's probably just like a double attacking better than Mace Windu every turn.
I was sitting here looking at it. I was like, does tenacity proc twice on his attack because he has 2 weapons and versatile? It doesn't.
Well, tenacity is not going to trigger on a ranged attack.
It adds the and so and so it pseudo procs twice because he attacks twice in the round, right?
Well, my question was, does it proc on? Does it proc per weapon, or does it add to the dice pool?
I think tenacity is only for a melee attack.
Right, but you can if it added it to each. If it was worded so that like you add 1 to your weapon, you could shoot twice, right? Like you could use both weapons in melee, right? So if it added a red to each weapon, it would.
I think if you,
I read the text. It does not. That was what I was sitting here. I was about to make everybody.
It's when it makes a melee attack during the form attack pool step, and so because there's no situation in which he could make 2 melee attacks in the same activation, then yes.
No, but both of his weapons are melee.
I think if he's in contact with 2 separate units and he like splits one into one and one into the other,
and
you would get 2 red dice.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So it would have to be like your opponent would sort of have to be cooperating by meleeing Han after he's already meleeed your guy,
and that also assumes that whatever Han touched didn't die.
Is still alive. But no, you're actually right. So if Han does get charged by a bunch of guys, then he could literally be like whack.
3 red, 3 black, 2 white would be the overall pool split between two attacks.
Man.
Oh boy. Well,
Surge to crit.
He's really
independent
good.
aim.
Thanks for making bad news worse.
Pierce.
Ram.
You
Really?
could ram in that situation, but
Oh, God. Boy. Han Tauntaun. What happened?
Also, just real quick, he's not fragile. The math on Uncanny Luck makes it better than surging red saves up to like 7.
I tried
He's
to
not
melee
fragile.
him down with the marksman squads that he engaged. And I was just like, I was like, oh, I guess I do 0 wounds. Like,
Uncanny Luck's an amazing keyword.
Yeah. And I think it's additionally crazy because most of the time the thing that is gonna be able to attack him actually is not throwing that many dice. Like, you're not gonna be able to sling 10 die range shots into him most of the time. So you're really just like throwing in nickel and dime damage, and it's like, yeah, he's only rolling somewhere between 2 and 5 saves, which makes Uncanny Luck a lot better.
And like I said, the math for break even for surging white saves, they are better than red saves with Uncanny Luck 3.
Yeah.
Up to the number of Uncanny Luck times like 2.3, right? Which in this case is 7 something. So if you're rolling 7 or less dice, it is better to have surging white with Uncanny Luck than to have red dice.
Yeah. And even somebody like Vader basically needs for him to not have the independent dodge in order to actually be able to take care of him in one swing. And he also needs to hit all of his attack dice. So it's like, it's rough. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I don't want to say anything too bombastic, but it feels like sort of the most cracked thing that has come out.
Oh, that's definitely not true.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little
You guys really think Will by Grievous takes the cake there?
This is spoken by a man who has not played against Thrawn yet.
No.
Oh. All right. Well, we will get to that next week. What were you going to say, Isaiah?
Oh, I'd stick with Wheelbike over. I do think Thrawn is very, very good, but Wheelbike is. Every single list at Worlds went into that with a way to solve for it, and
only one of them made it at the end of the
units
day
were just
8,
completely invalidated because of Will by Grievous.
Don't worry, Isaiah. Evan's on the copium train where he's like, yeah, Will by Grievous isn't a problem.
Hey, he's okay. It's not a problem.
You're probably right. It's probably super tax. You're right. It's probably super tax instead that are absurd.
Probably. I'm probably right. So we actually had an idea. First of all, we should mention that due to incidents that happened the last time we tried to use an AI on this podcast, we engaged in a Butlerian-style mission against MC4LP, and for now seem to have eliminated him. And because C3LP, the original bot, because he actually became a patron right before we melted him down, we have rewarded him by recreating him. So I will say that we've warned him to Mike, you did warn him to keep the sass down, right? Or did you encourage the sass?
I mean, I didn't, I didn't do either of those things.
Okay, of course. Mike's going to do whatever Mike does, but I thought that a fun way to re-engage C3LP would be to ask him what he thought Mace Windu and Han Solo should each cost, given their stats and command card situations. So take it away, Michael. Sorry, take it away, C3LP. Tell us what you think.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna. It did it very numerically here, as opposed to
as clankers do,
as a clanker does. So I'm gonna kind of give the synopsis of how C3LP, kind of the high level overviews, and kind of then go into its recommendations.
Sure.
So C3LP thinks that Mace has a higher offensive ceiling than Anakin.
It's true. Right?
Sort of. If you don't count Tempted and Pierce.
Or is
that
one
is a
pip.
True statement.
Or is 1 pip.
Yeah. And if he's already hurt, he has to already be hurt for that to be true.
Has a higher defensive ceiling than Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And scales with risk, self-damage. So he's listed out the comparison benchmarks for this unit of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and operative Darth Vader.
Okay.
And he He says that Windu is more durable than Anakin, more explosive than Obi-Wan, more consistent than Vader, and the predicted cost level is 185 to 200 points base. Because he has top-tier offense, top-tier defense, pierce immunity, parentheses, meta-warping, scaling mechanic, Invapod, command card synergy, of which he has none, and utility in Compel.
Oh, C3LP,
if he's priced below 180, he's undercosted. If he's priced 185 to 200, it's fair. And if it's priced above 205, safe but boring. This unit does not ask if it can win a duel. It asks how quickly you would like to lose it.
I'm so glad you're back, C3LP. You're just a treasure. Isaiah, what do you think about 205-point Mace and Windu? Speechless. Less speechless.
I was trying to think. I was like, what if he's 180 with push? Maybe, but
I'm not sure. Like, based on what we've seen from C3LP in the past, I'm not sure if C3LP is even aware that force push costs 40 points. Possibly not aware that force push exists unless you actually, like, literally ask it.
You could ask it right now how much force push is and see what it comes back with.
Yeah, that is something that
you want me to do that?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Let's just see what happens.
10 points.
Drama.
Why it costs 10. Because it moves enemy units, breaks positioning rules, enables pulling units into melee. It is not damage. It's winning the game indirectly. If a force user does not take force push, I begin asking questions.
Well, an accurate statement 2 years ago-ish. So good job keeping with the times, C3LP. Now, I'm curious, Mike, what did it say about Tauntaun Han Solo?
This is not your father's Han.
Accurate. That's a weird thing to say.
It is. It is very weird to say.
I'm going to guess that it says 65 points.
I'm going to guess 120.
So this one is like very kind of like segmented. Basically, he says he's surprisingly consistent, not Anakin damage, but very real damage.
That is accurate.
And he seems to think that with unstoppable and unconcerned, suppression no longer matters at all, period, ever, period. Which definitely not the case.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah. So he says Spur has no downside, enemy suppression is irrelevant, and basically as soon as you play his command card on turn 1, Han becomes a fully independent missile. This is extremely powerful and must be priced heavily.
Okay. You're on a roll, C3LP.
So comparison benchmarks for Han are Old Han, a ranged skirmisher, approximately 100 points. Cassian Andor, a flexible operative, roughly 90 to 110 points. Din Djarin, durable skirmisher, 115 to 130 points. New Han is more mobile than Cassian, okay. More flexible than Din, okay. More self-sufficient than Old Han, okay. Has an incredible melee attack, parentheses, question mark, again, why, question mark, parentheses.
Why?
C3LP, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I don't understand either, but...
we're fans of that statement.
C3LP's predicted cost benchmark is between 125 to 140 points. Below 120, undercosted and annoying. 125 to 135, a sweet spot. 140 plus, probably safe, maybe slightly conservative.
What?
This unit does not win through power. It wins through refusing to follow the rules everyone else is forced to obey.
Oh, that might be the most accurate statement that C3LP has made in his existence so far.
Do you think 120 is balanced for this unit?
120? That actually feels about right to me.
I think so.
I would have to, I think, play against a list with it at 120 to
But
to
boy,
verify that statement. I think there are
4-speed 3 moves is just so stupid.
You said 120 to what?
125 to 140. So here's the thing. I think that even at 120, I think it's very difficult to not trade with Han at a baseline. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable Han kills 120 points of stuff before he dies, even if he like dies on turn 2.
And his value as an objective piece is also like mega insane.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be extremely difficult for your Han to leave the game without trading up, even at 120.
It's like Wheel Greg.
It is. Yes, sometimes Will Greg eats your Yoda, so he's traded for free, and then he also eats half your army.
Yeah.
In one activation. I think unlike Will Greg, Han has like more you can play around Han a little bit, or you can because Han doesn't do it all in one go.
He only affects one unit at a time, so to speak.
Right, and you can respond to Han taking actions
2 per round, maybe.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about him getting a change of plans as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm not saying that a 120 is too much or the right cost, but I could see a world where 120 actually is not enough. I think that is a world that is possibly true. I think that we would have to actually see him at 120, I think, for that to play out. But
it'll be a while for that, Michael.
Yes, I think so too.
Well, stay tuned next week to hear about more possible balance issues in the Galactic Civil War factions.
Yeah, I do think we're entering what I expect to be a very interesting year for the balance of this game. We'll see
there's so much that is in the air, like when you talk about the April update and Mando's alone, and then whatever happens with the stuff we already know about.
Like in 3 weeks, if this update doesn't change Wheel Bike Greg at all, like I do think that we're gonna have like 3 to 5 units that are like pretty game warping from like a meta perspective. I'm not saying that's not a thing that we as competitive players can like not work around, but I do think that it's gonna like change what you kind of can't do in a lot of these games, and I think that's gonna like affect list building pretty heavily. I think everybody's first game against Thrawn's 2-pip is gonna be, you're gonna be like, oh.
I'm excited for next week when we're going to talk about that in detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isaiah, what do you think? By the way, any of those game warping units in the Galactic Republic, by the way?
Not right now.
No.
I'm hopeful. We'll see what the Jedi come in at.
This would be pretty hard for them to come in at anything where it's going to affect things the way that Han Solo and Thrawn are going to affect things.
Here, I have a question for you, Isaiah. I have a question. And I want you to be honest with me. I want your honest opinion.
Okay.
Do you think any of those units come in sub 140?
Are you talking specifically Mundi, Plo, and Shakti?
Yeah.
What I wonder what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen, Isaiah?
Because I could tell you what I want, and I mean, like that,
Yeah, sub 140, I think so.
Which ones?
All of them. I mean,
yeah. Are you sure this is not you wish listing?
There's no world in which Plo Koon is 140 or above. There's no world in which Shakti. Well, Makashi is nice. Okay, so here would be my thing. Mundi can't be more than Yoda. Why would you? Yoda better.
Well, bear in mind that most of these units were probably priced before the latest Yoda points adjustments. based on development timelines, right?
I'm gonna guess they're gonna range from like 120 to 140, maybe 145 for Mundi, just because I think they're gonna value Ataru very highly.
I think that I could see Mundi at 140, and then I'm pretty confident that the non-master, that the operatives are going to be like that they're going to be below that. Like I'm almost like positive that they're going to be below 140.
Okay.
And
I guess we'll see.
The reason I'm saying that is that like the Jedi Knight General, who does have Master of the Force, and even and again we're talking about a guy that we don't even think is like all that great, but him with Guardian Double Bladed is 115. And he does have Master of the Force, and I think that
and command cards.
Yeah, and command cards. Yeah, weirdly, like basically just as many command cards as these guys have. But I
guess let me. Yeah,
go ahead.
Finish.
Well, I mean, and so if you're talking about somebody like Shaak Ti, then if the Jedi Knight with Guardian Double Bladed is 95. Then I feel like it would make sense for Shaak Ti to be worth like 20 more than that from a game dev perspective.
I think all of these units are better than Mace Windu.
Just like
Natural
a baseline
surge to block is pretty nice. Natural surge to block is pretty nice.
It's okay.
I
mean,
I just like all of their kits are better. By like a pretty
if Mace
wide
came
margin.
in at like 135 to 140, I think it'd be pretty wild.
I'm less sure about that because Mace doesn't actually feel all that much more lethal than like Maul does.
No, he's like not that different than like a Tenacity Maul when Vapod is on.
Right. So anyway, I get where you're coming from, Mike, but I don't think it's going to be that bad where we're looking at, like Plo Koon at 140 or Shaak Ti at 140. Like, I could see them doing Kiadi at 140.
Man, I don't know. Makashi's pretty good, man. And I would also encourage everyone to remember that how much was Asajj before the latest points update?
She was 130, I believe.
Yeah. All of these units are definitely better than Asajj was, and they were put at their price points before that points adjustment took place.
That 120 to 145. That's where I'm landing.
I
think that's accurate.
I'm here to temper expectations.
And I hope it's on the lower side of those for both Plo and Shaak Ti. I think both them need to be like not more than 125, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 130 for Shaak Ti because Makashi is really nice, but
I think it's pretty likely that Shaak Ti is going to be the best Jedi in this pack.
Oh yeah. I think that that's likely just because of the mastery alone.
She's also got, I think, just like the best baseline lightsaber.
And she probably has the most enabling command card to make the rest of your army very good for at least one turn.
Especially with Mandos.
With Mandos, yeah, especially. Asajj came into the game, by the way, at 150, like when she initially came into the game. Okay. I forget what she was in 2.6 before she got adjusted down, but...
I want to say she was 130 or 140.
I think she was 130, yeah. But anywho, we will see. All right, well, tune in next week for more optimistic talk.
Here's what we'll say. If you want optimistic talk, go listen to Owen and Isaac over at the Fifth Trooper. I listened to their latest podcast. They were all optimism all the time.
It's important for us to have them as a part of our network in order to like keep up the positive vibes because anyway, we'll talk more about it next week. Isaiah, thank you very much for joining us.
Of course.
We're always going to want you to join us for points predictions. I think that next time, to keep things spicy, I'm just gonna like ask for your wildest dreams instead of our boring predictions such as Han Solo Tauntaun is gonna ruin the world. It's sad that I think that is a boring prediction, but
Bad Batch down 80 points. All right,
yeah, do it, you cowards.
Do you think he could come down 10? Because I do. I think Bad Batch could be 150 in Republic, and it would be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, it would be above the curve, but there's nothing in Republic that's the curve is in the garbage. So like,
Mike, land the fire support, please.
This has been the Notorious Scoundrels, Season 4, Episode 55. I finally found somebody on my side. I'm Mike.
I'm Evan.
I'm Isaiah.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.